Hey guys, do you remember me talking about this guy here? This guy is Bryn Hargreaves. I did a Crime Story Sunday episode on him a few weeks ago. And Bryn Hargreaves was an English Rugby League player, originally from Wigan, which is very close to where I live. And he went living out in West Virginia after meeting his wife. They then split up. Bryn had some medical problems, he had some mental health problems, and then one day he just disappeared, just literally vanished off the face of the earth. When his apartment was explored, his shower was running, his door was unlocked. It was just like somebody had just plucked him out of his life and disappeared him. 14 months after he went missing, sadly, his body was found. So it was actually only, a week or so after making the Crime Story Sunday episode that the news came out that a body that had been discovered in the vicinity of Bryn's apartment had been identified as him, sadly deceased, and it seemed like he'd been there a long time. Well, I've gone back to look at whether any more information has come out about Bryn, like his cause of death. As far as I can tell, his autopsy results have not been made public, but there is some additional information about him and his death that I didn't pick up when I made the video that his body had been found. This article here, this is from The Independent, back in the 22nd of March, that his body was found just yards away from his apartment. So let's read this article. The body of former British Rugby League player Bryn Hargreaves, who went missing more than a year ago, was found yards from his home. Mr. Hargreaves, who was 36 at the time, was reported missing on 16th of January 2022, having failed to arrive for work in West Virginia. The Sheriff's Office said his disappearance sparked a large-scale search of the Cheat Lake area, led by police and tracker dogs over a several-month period, with no success, which led his family and his friends and everybody following this case, his Rugby League family, thinking that, well, has he been kidnapped? Did he have an argument with somebody and they've abducted him and killed him? Well, on the 26th of February, now it was a few weeks actually between his body being found and it being made public that they'd found him. But on the 26th of February, Mr. Hargreaves' remains were found in a wooded area between South Pier Point Road and the Hannah Light development in Cheat Lake. This is mere yards away from his home and last known location, the Whisper Creek apartment complex, which is off South Pier Point Road. The player's mother, Maria Andrews, posted on Facebook along with the caption, "Heartbroken. My son, I closed my eyes, but for a moment and suddenly a man stood where my boy used to be. I may not be able to carry you now in my arms, but I will always carry you in my heart. You have given me so many reasons to be proud of the man you have become. But the proudest moment for me is telling others that you are my son. I love you now and forever." The Sheriff's Office said on its Facebook page that it's waiting for a completed autopsy report before the cause and manner of death is determined. And as I said, I can't see that has been released into the public domain. Mr. Hargreaves' older brother Gareth announced the former player's death on Facebook. R.I.P. Bryn Hargreaves. With incredible sadness, I can confirm after 14 months we have finally found Bryn. We still do not know the cause of death or what happened on 3/1/22. Thanks to all those who have helped in the search. We would appreciate a little space and will keep you updated when we have any further information. Miss Andrews, who previously posted her thoughts, this is his mother, writing that she was heartbroken by the news. Not something I wanted to be sharing. I'm in bits, heartbroken, my beautiful son Bryn. I can't think of any words to describe the pain. And as I said, door unlocked and shower running. I was thinking he might have fallen in the lake or the river close by his home. But that does not appear to be the case. and we'll get into that in a minute. As I said, Bryn had mental health issues and was in severe pain with his back from a car accident just weeks before his disappearance. Gareth his brother, explained last June they had desperately continued the search. He's also been away from his family at Christmas. The most likely scenarios were that he decided to harm himself or had decided to disappear for a bit and then come back. But 5 months on, so he's speaking 5 months on, those two possibilities look less likely because you've got to think a body would turn up. We had his bank account investigated, which showed that there was no withdrawals, and his wallet, his ID, his passport were all still in his apartment. So he'd no means to access cash, no ID to travel. You start to think of other possibilities, that he didn't plan to go missing and that someone had some input through abduction or something along those lines. You start to think of all the weird things at the time, which start to add up. When the police went around to his apartment, the door was closed but unlocked and the shower was still on. And on the night of his disappearance, he'd ordered a couple of bottles of gin from a mail order firm to be delivered the next day or two. So it didn't really indicate that he was going to take his own life, did it? You have to really search, really search for information about this case. So a few days after The Independent posted that article, this came out in Total Rugby League, and his Rugby League family have been the ones that have consistently, over the 14 months he was missing, really tried to get answers, raise money for searches, for PIs and things like that. So the Rugby League fraternity was shocked last week when the news that former Wigan Warriors, Bradford Bulls and St Helens forward Bryn Hargreaves had been found dead. Hargreaves, who'd emigrated to the US a number of years ago, had gone missing back in January 22, and his body being found opposite his home. From his uncle and former Great Britain prop, John Fieldhouse, the news of Bryn's death didn't take him by surprise. Obviously, it's not really come as a shock because it's been so long. If you think about it, there was no way he could have survived for 14 months, so we were expecting it. It's hard to accept because it's been so long and he was so close to his apartment. Why has this area not been searched in the past? Well, according to the cops, it had been searched, but I don't know what went wrong here. Bryn's mum, Maria, gave more information. After a Zoom call with Detective Curry, we found out that Bryn was found by shed hunters, deers, antelopes, was down a deep ditch in the middle of a very dense woodland opposite to where he lived. There were searches done in that area. I'm not happy he was missed. Given the location, though, it would have been easy to miss, and they do not have enough resources or experience needed in this field. He said, so this was the detective, he said he struggled to get to the spot after being reported, but given Bryn's job, he would probably have found it okay at the start. He's a pipe fitter, he's fit, right? Rugby league player, always kept his fitness. He'd had that accident, but other than that, it looks as if he fell, but we won't know until we get the autopsy results, as these can take months or years. What? Months or years for an autopsy report? No. Now, look, after 14 months missing out there in the wilds, across from his apartment, but in the open, it's not a standard autopsy. So there's things like, forensic anthropologies that's got to be brought in and things like that. But why would it take years? I can understand a couple of months to get answers, to get some answers, bring in a specialist, but years? No. Glenn, a person in the US who has given lots of support to the family, who was on call, asked, can we get a private autopsy done? We can. Glenn is going to ask someone he knows to do one. As well, we agreed we will not have him cremated until we have the results, just in case there is anything criminal. The only thing concerns me is that Bryn's bag was on top of the ditch and Bryn was at the bottom. We might not know or forever know what happened. I'm trying to accept it was an accident and we need to get him put to rest. I don't know if I will ever stop the pain I'm feeling. Time is a great healer with my family and friends. For John, it's a case of waiting to see what happens from the autopsy. It's going to drag on, But we can't do anything about it, unfortunately. That's the issue. Obviously, I would have liked him to come home, but he wasn't having it. So they wanted him to come home, back to Wigan, because there was nothing left out there for him in West Virginia after his marriage broke down. And he was having mental health problems. He'd had that accident, but he was making good money, like pipe fitting. So, I don't know, he didn't want to, and his pride and all of that. Apart from going and kidnapping and fetching him back, we couldn't do anything. He wanted help, but he didn't want the help. He was confused in what he wanted to do. And you can't do something against someone's wishes. All right, guys. Let's do a little bit of map time here. This is the Whisper Creek Apartments. This is the Whisper Creek Luxury Apartments. This is from July 2021, so there may be new houses or something. And then can't go up there. Nice spot. So woodland there. Outlooking the woodlands over there. Alright, so let's go back to this article because this told us. Okay, so remains found in a wooded area between South Pierpoint Road and the Hanalei development in Cheat Lake. Okay, so this is South Pierpoint Road. So where's the Hanalei developments? Okay, got it. So Whisper Creek Apartments are here. South Pierpoint Road's here. And then the Hanalei developments here. So it was in this wooded area here, right here. I mean, come on. It literally is. It literally is yards away from his house. Literally yards away from his house. I mean, come on. Come on now. So they're just building some stuff there. Wow. So close. Unbelievable. Finally, let me show you this article. 14-month missing person case highlights need for change in West Virginia search dogs, PI says. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, Bryn Hargreaves was missing for 14 months before his remains were found. Some people involved with the case are wondering what could have been done better and asking for change in West Virginia search dog training. This was yards away from his house. He was last heard from on January 3rd. Health officials said he suffered from seizures and was believed to have CTE, a brain disease associated with repeated traumatic brain injuries from his years of playing rugby league. So according to the Sheriff's Office, Hargreaves was found on March the 2nd. In some articles, it says he was found on February 26th. So it's only a few days difference, but I don't know. And was positively identified 18 days later. So his body was found in a nearby wooded area, so this area that we've just looked at, only 1,000 feet away from his house. 1,000 feet. So what's that? 300 and odd yards. 300 yards. So the Hargreaves family hired PI Ken Cornell months before Hargreaves was found to look into what happened. The investigator worked pro bono and did some digging and found something interesting regarding the search when search dogs were brought in by Mountaineer Area Rescue Group. The area that he was found in had extensive searching. Matter of fact, I had the map I've provided to you. There's supposed to be professionals here. It looked to me like there was extensive searching. Coloured lines represent where dogs searched for Bryn shortly after his disappearance. So it looks like a child's just scribbled on a map here, but there's red lines, there's blue lines, there's green lines, so I don't know. The red line's meant to be the dog area or what? Hargreaves was spotted in the upside down U in red in the photos. Upside down U, is that it? Not very clear. And as you can see, a dog was brought into that area. Where did the dogs hit? A lot of hits on the lake. We know he wasn't there. No hits out in the woods where he was found. So hits along Cheat Lake when searching for Bryn Hargreaves. So, oh yeah, red are the dog hits. So red along here, red in here. So I don't know what the yellow stands for. 12 News reached out to Mountaineer Area Rescue Group to see why this may be the case. In a statement, they said, "We can only speculate why that is, but we subsequently learned that there may be a sewage effluent pipe that enters the lake on the Isis Ferry area. Even treated human waste, especially if it contains human blood, such as from disposal of feminine hygiene products, can contain the decay compounds unique to human tissue. At times, there is significant current through Cheat Lake, include periods between Bryn's disappearance and our search efforts. It's possible that the effluent from the sewage pipe confused the dogs." Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense, actually. If the sewage pipe's kind of around here, then, yeah, of course, that will confuse the dogs. It will. But why, if taken through that wooded area, did cadaver dogs not hit there as well? According to Cornell, this isn't the only case in West Virginia where dogs were unable to find missing people. Mountaineer Search and Rescue went to Hardy County. They searched on a gentleman out there, searched around his car. He was found half a mile from his car by a farmer. With hundreds of missing people in West Virginia, Cornell is hoping to see change. What I would like to see West Virginia do is everybody get on the same page and have the state set up a state certification. So if there's a cadaver team in Wheeling, West Virginia, and they go to Mason County, West Virginia, they all know how the dogs are going to act, and everybody's on the same level of training. This isn't a new concept. For example, Ohio has a statewide certification called the Ohio Federation of Canine Search and Rescue. Marg said that certifying organisations are used to train cadaver dogs both nationally and regionally. The search group said that search dogs are trained by their handlers, who then have them tested by whichever certifying agency they choose or are required to use by their team. A lot of people have jobs in West Virginia that have to have certification. That's set up by the state. I don't know why the state of West Virginia doesn't come up with certification. I'm shocked that they don't actually have some kind of test for the dogs that they're sending out there. In the case of Hargreaves, Sheriff's Office said, "It's unfortunate that Mr. Hargreaves' remains were not located sooner. We do not feel it was anyone's fault, nor do we think it was for the lack of trying." The same thoughts are echoed by Marge and Cornell, but Cornell wants to see change so that others who are lost in the mountain state can be found. When asked if Hargreaves may have been found sooner with more consistent training, Cornell said that's a good possibility. Wow. Okay, well, maybe if he was down a ditch. I mean, how big was the ditch? So if he fell down a ditch, maybe he had a seizure. I mean, why did he go out with his shower running, which is weird, but okay, so maybe he wasn't feeling well, went out to get some fresh air, went for a walk, had a seizure, fell down the ditch and died. Maybe if it was so heavily wooded, the dog didn't actually get down there. Maybe. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. It's on land. What a tragically sad case this is. 300 yards from his house. Wow. Unbelievable. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.